This video will go into eSignLogic, the intelligence behind the eSign zones. Here's an example of a document where we may require some accuracy in the signing process. So for example, right here in this repair request form, let's go ahead and look at this area where these do we have permission to enter the property on a repair request. So for instance, I would put a radio button right here for a yes/no response, and the options would be two options, yes or no. Okay, so you can see it's placed them right here. Of course, if the form required me to move things around, I can do that as well. Okay, so once it's placed, a radio button or an option group allows only one choice within a group, like a radio button or an option group, for example, right? So in this case, if the signer responds no, then perhaps we would like some additional information. So I'd like to place perhaps a form field right here. All right, and if they select no, then I'd like them to provide some available times. So what I'm trying to design here in this condition is that if the signer selects yes, then great, then we can move on and they don't need to fill out anything else. But if they select no, then they must fill out this available field right here, a text box, including with some other additional information for me. So that's the kind of control I want to put in place. Now, these features come in really handy on forms that have lots of checkboxes and radio buttons, and if certain checkboxes and radio buttons requires a subsequent field to be filled out, whereas if they don't, then those fields could be either hidden or optional and so forth. So it gives a lot of flexibility and control. So the way we're going to set that up is I'm going to go ahead and open up the properties of this text box. You see right here. And then I'm going to make this text box, which is text box number 3 for this particular signer, I'm going to make it conditional upon, and then when I select conditional, you get a drop down of all the zones in your setup, in your signing session right here. So in this case, I just have RB1, radio button 1, and radio button 2. Now, if ever you need to go on a document and just mouse over a zone, you'll see that it'll actually show you the zone ID, RB2, and who that which signer is actually selecting that. Okay, so right here, what I'm going to condition is that RB2, if RB2 is checked, then I need this form field to be required. If RB2, if this button is not selected, then I'm going to make this field hidden, or even optional, whatever you like, but in this case I'm going to make it hidden. Okay, so again, just to review, so this text box right here is conditioned upon this radio button such that if RB2 is selected, then I'm required, but if I'm not selected, then this zone is hidden. Okay, so this is how you can actually make or actually enable a lot more control within the signing process to get accurate documents and accurate information back. More examples of this is, for instance, in real estate forms where you may have a lead-based paint disclosure, where the form might require a seller to disclose whether the home was built prior to 1978 or post 1978. And you want them to only check in one location, not in both locations. So you can make them conditioned upon each other such that if one is checked, the other is not is hidden, and if the other is checked, then the previous one is hidden. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you set this up. There's a lot of power in this, so you definitely need to play around with this, test it out, and get the required effect before you use this feature. Okay, so I'm going to save this, close it, and actually show you what this signing actually looks like to the client. And so really quickly, in order to show this to you, I'm going to go ahead and remove the other signers from here. So you can always come back and forth on steps. And let me go ahead and only leave it as one signer. And now we are ready to test this out. So let's just go and start the signing ceremony. Now remember, as an account owner, you would go right into the signing. So here I'm actually going to open it up. Go ahead and put in the password. And so now here I am in the signing. And let's go to the document page. So here we are. So right here you see when I come to that location, you'll see that it has the radio buttons, the yes and no, but you will see that the text box here is actually hidden because currently this is not selected. All right, so if I select yes, then I can continue and move on down the document. But if I select no, then you see yes is unselected because this is a radio button allowing me only one choice. But as soon as I selected this, this field pops up indicating to the signer that they need to provide some information. So in this case, I'll say after 5 p.m. Okay, so that's how you can enable a lot of control using the eSignLogic intelligence behind these zones. Now, there's a lot of support on this. Feel free to call us if you have any questions. We're here for you, but definitely use this feature and enable greater accuracy and control in your signing process.